Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Sam and this is Frugalisama, where I talk about dressmaking. This is day 6 of 100 days of sewing, and today I'm going to talk about sewing pattern books and what I think about those and whether they are good value or not. So this 100 days of sewing is aimed at all sewers, not just beginners, and just anybody who's looking to save money, and some hints and tips. I record videos about the 100 days of sewing Monday to Friday, but I just post them on a Wednesday and a Friday, and then I will have other videos about sewing in general, reviews and what have you, on a Sunday. So welcome to anyone who's new, and thank you so much to anybody who has subscribed. It's very, very much appreciated. If dressmaking's your thing and you want to subscribe, if you hit the subscription bell below, you will be notified when I post a new video. Okay, so let's get started. I mentioned before that I've been sewing for quite a long time, sort of when I was pregnant with my son, who's 30 now. But probably really regained my passion for it when the Great British Sewing Bee started, and Tilly, who is Tilly and the Buttons, was a contestant. I think she was on the first one, produced a sewing book and everybody went mad for it, and I bought it too, and I'm wearing one of her dresses today just in honour of it. So this Love at First Stitch, it's probably one of the first sewing books that I bought. I bought the Great British Sewing Bee books as well, but this Love at First Stitch is, I've recommended this to lots and lots of people because it more or less covers everything that you need when you first start sewing. Lots of techniques in there. She starts with a scarf. She teaches you how to draft a skirt from your own measurements, the Delphine. There is this dress, which is a Megan dress. I want to say Lulu dress, but it's spelled L-I-L-O-U. So is that Lilau? The Lilau dress? Anyway, I've made everything out of this book. I think it really developed my skills as a seamstress. As I say, I was sewing for quite a long time before that. But the online sewing community, I think, had developed you know, quite a lot from I didn't have an absence in sewing so much, but perhaps didn't sew so many garments in that time, or as many as I do now. And I will still recommend that book, but I would issue a word of caution. Although I've sewed everything out of there, apart from the headscarf, I was beyond that basic. I don't tend to wear it. And I think that's what I want to talk about today, really, is when you buy a sewing book, you really need to know what your style is. For me, I love the visuals in this book. I was really drawn into the visuals of this book. I like vintage style, and there's a lot of nod to vintage. I think it's probably more 1960s vintage than the 40s and 50s that I prefer. I love the styling of the book. I love the information in there. There's a lot in there to learn. It's just that a lot of the patterns just do not fit in with my lifestyle. Now that could have been me choosing the wrong fabrics, or just being at the wrong stage. This dress, this Megan dress, I've seen so many beautiful versions of it. This is made from a Liberty cotton, and I love the print. It's just a bit close to my skin tone. I think that's probably what's put me off. I did toile it first, so I've put a bit of weight on since I made it, but I did toile it first, and I do like it. Now I'm wearing it, I like it. It's just I never reach for it. So this is a Mimi blouse. I've probably only worn that twice or 3 times, and it's a nice blouse. I don't know why I don't wear it. I don't reach for it. This is a Clemens skirt, and this was made from leftovers of another project. Worn this a few times. If you see at the bottom, there's a panel at the bottom. I made it too short, so I put that on as a contrast. I have worn that quite a few times. the Lilu dress. This fabric cost me about £1 a metre, £1 a yard I think off from the local market. I very rarely wear this, and it is really lovely fabric. It was cheap, but it's really lovely fabric. I can't put my finger on it. The PJs that are in it, I've worn those a lot, and they're a great skill builder. I think really what you need to look out for when you're buying a sewing pattern book is it done in a style that you're going to wear? Does it fit in with your lifestyle? Briefly, my lifestyle is I work 3 days a week normally. I normally go into work, I work in a library, so I need to be relatively smart for that. I don't have to be, but I like to be. And then the other days I'm at home, so I have a dog, so I get up and walk the dog, so I need very sort of casual clothes for that, and then I'm at home maybe nipping in and out shopping or whatever under normal circumstances. Obviously that's all changed a little bit, so but I've never been one to spend the day in a dressing gown or pyjamas. I'll get dressed on a morning, so I do like, you know, and I like to wear a dress. In theory, that book should have fit in with my lifestyle, and I think what I'm going to say is it's probably aimed at somebody a little bit younger than me, and I've probably, I mean, it was published in 2014 was that book, so and I was late 40s when it was published. I'm not saying that women of my age cannot wear her clothes. Of course they can, but I just think the whole styling of it was probably aimed at somebody in the 30s rather than somebody in the late 40s, and that's perhaps why I don't reach for it. So I'll just show you sort of some of the styling in this book. I would definitely wear a skirt that short. I don't have a problem with that, and it might be because I've put the scallops on around the neckline with that little dress. But I don't reach for it. It feels a bit twee on me. I think more than anything. The other thing with this book is it only goes up to a size 44 bust, and one of the first things one of my friends said to me is she likes it, and she's older than me. She likes it, but it's not big enough for her, and she's not particularly large, so it is limited sizes. So another book that I thought I would get a lot of use out of, but never did, was this by Rosie Martin, No Patterns Needed. I love the idea of this, that you can draft, just use different shapes to draft your own patterns. But the reality is I've made one thing from this, and I've worn it a lot. Yeah, I made this shirt dress from it. She uses quite a lot of younger models in hers, but that's not what put me off with this, and I can't put my finger on it. There are some strange patterns in here, but yeah, it is a nice book. It's a nice idea. I just haven't really got my money's worth out of it. And the last one that I don't feel I've had my money's worth. This is a Boundless Style, and this was published in 2015, so it's 5 years old now, but still for sale. And I absolutely loved the idea of this. So the Boundless Style book is a mix and match idea, and I absolutely loved the idea of this. You're provided with 5 bodices, 5 skirts and 5 sleeve types, and you can mix and match them all together. And in the premise of it I absolutely loved, and I thought never need to buy a pattern again. I can just use, obviously it's all dresses, except you can use the skirts as a skirt, and the tops you can put a peplum on, so that as tops as well. I thought I'd never have to buy a pattern again. What a fabulous idea! The opportunities are endless with it. I've made 2 dresses from it. The one I'll show you, this one, that is, I think it's the Sophia bottoms. What I'll do is I will put it on and I'll insert a bit of video at the end of it, because it's going to be impossible to show. I used the Katrina bodice and the Sophia skirt for this one, and then it was a cap sleeve. And I do love this dress, but it's really far too fancy to wear anywhere, but I think I wore it at New Year's Eve. It is a lovely dress, and I don't know I cannot put my finger on why I don't use that book. I might revisit it now I've pulled it out. There are some really nice patterns in it. So again, I am not saying don't buy it. I'm just saying think about, if you're on a budget, think about what your style is and what you're going to wear to get your value out of a book, really. So moving on to ones that I do use, and this is Tilly again, and that's her stretch book. I've made tons out of here. Now, going back to Tilly's book originally, it's not that I haven't got my money's worth out of it, because I've made everything in it. It's just that I don't wear what I've made, so it's a bit of a false economy, really. Whereas this stretch book, which was a second book, I've made everything. I tried making the Jonah dress, and I didn't have much success with it. I think I think there was a fault on the fabric when I think about it, so I never tried it again. I bought fabric to make it again, but never got around to it. The Stella hoodie and joggers have been probably my most worn out of there. Made 2 Stella hoodies, 1 pair of the joggers, and I've used those a lot. And the Frankie Bay Sporty as well. If I can find a photograph of me wearing it, I'll bob that in. The only thing I've not made is the skirt. Made the Freya top a couple of times. I've made it into a dress, so that has been good value for me. The retail price on here is £22.50, and I think you've got 6 patterns. I think I've had my money's worth out of this stretch one. So I never bought Tilly's third book, which was Make It Simple. I think probably some of those patterns in there I can find elsewhere. If you saw my previous video about my fabric haul, which I'll put a link to at the end, you will see that what I do try and do is when I see a pattern out or a new pattern book, I do try and find if I've got anything very similar before I spend any money on it. So the new Sew Over It ebook is another one that I decided not to invest in, because I could get hold of very, very similar patterns to that without having to spend the £30. And very briefly on ebooks, Sew Over It's published 3 ebooks now. The first one that I did buy and I did use quite a lot. The second one I bought and I didn't use a great deal, and the third one I passed on because, like I say, I managed to find quite a lot of similar patterns that I didn't find that the £30 investment was worth it. And on reflection, really, you're paying nearly as much or more in the Sew Over It ebook at £30. Is there 5 or 6 patterns in there? I think there's 6. Paying more for that, and you're having to print off the patterns yourself. So she did have a price of something like £90 for printing all those patterns off, and which it would probably cost you if you're going to have them printed off at an online printers. I think that's just a bit much, really. You know, I'm trying to keep this hobby as accessible and as affordable as possible, and I think £90 for 6 patterns is just excessive, really. I think, like I've said before, I think if you're buying something in bulk, which is effectively what you're doing in a pattern book or an ebook like that, you want a discount. You don't want to be paying more. So yeah, I missed out on on Tilly's third book, purely because I didn't see that there was enough in there for me. My favourite sewing book has got to be the Breaking the Pattern by Named. I feel like I've made a lot out of here, but I still haven't made the trousers, I still haven't made the skirt, I haven't made the coat, but I have made, I've made the bag, I've made the sade, don't know if it's sade or shade blouse, I've made that Ruska knot dress, and I've made the Paolo jeans, made 2 of those, I've made the Seraste ruffle top, and I've made the Selena dress as well. So that is £26, and I'll put below how many patterns there are in there. So there's still some to make out of there. That is one pattern book that more or less every pattern I like, and I will probably make at some point. And just a final note on pattern books is really, if you can't afford them, try them, borrow them from your library. I've mentioned this before. I've managed to borrow quite a few pattern books from the library. The pattern sheets are there in the back. You can trace them off. Just make a note of scanning the details of the instructions, or ask for them as birthday presents. The Breaking the Pattern book, I think my mum bought me as a Christmas present actually. It came out around just before Christmas, and I got that as a Christmas present. And I think one of the Tilly books I got as a present as well. But yeah, my main take from pattern books is, yes, I think overall they are worth it. Obviously there are tons and tons of pattern books out there. There's lots of that I've looked at and resisted. The Japanese ones, I really like the look of those. And lots of instructional ones as well, like the Reader's Digest ones, which is ancient now, but the techniques are still there, still the same. My husband's bought me a couple of techniques ones over the years, and I do tend to go back and refer to them, but I will admit that I tend to go to YouTube first. I do like a good reference book. Being a librarian, I do like a good reference book, and they're always, sometimes it's a bit clearer seeing the drawings, and sometimes it's easier to see it being demonstrated on YouTube. It depends what it is. I mean, this is how I got onto the online world really, is when I got back into sewing, is I probably didn't know how to do an invisible zip as I recall, and got a YouTube video on it, and then discovered blogs and what have you. So that's what I've got to say about pattern books. Let me know below what your favourite pattern book is. If you've got different experiences of any of those pattern books that I've mentioned. Maybe you've got the Breaking the Pattern and haven't been inspired to make anything from it, or you love the first Tilly, the style of the first Tilly books. Now I've got this dress on, I think I'm going to keep it on actually. It is a nice comfortable dress. It's just that I don't reach for it. Like I say, it might be the colour of it. I do love the pink colour, and maybe it's just too much all as a dress. When I bought the fabric, I was originally going to make a blouse with it, and then I saw the Megan dress and made the Megan dress. Thank you for watching. I will be back tomorrow with just a few other hints and tips about patterns, and we'll get all this up hopefully on Friday, and I shall speak to you later. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll be back on Sunday with a review video. Okay, thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.